Welcome back to the GIGACON Hearthstone Prime Tournament here in Oslo. I'm Callum Leslie with Caldy once again on the cast. It's our second last tournament match, the third place match between Blackout and Odin. The players are about ready, Caldy, and this is going to be a really interesting one.
Absolutely here. 2 Druids, 2 Warlocks, but it's going to come down to the Paladin and Hunter here. A close match, I gotta give Blackout the edge here. I think he's got the right idea in terms of countering the Warrior, and he also should be strong. I think the Paladin might be the main thing for Odin. He's probably going to get an easy win there, but he's going to be in trouble with especially the Warrior, I think.
Well, we will see how that works out. Blackout, of course, has dropped Warrior completely from his lineup. We talked a little bit about that in the interview we just did with him. What do you think of that decision and his reasoning for it?
I think it's a good idea, yeah. I kind of like Control Warrior myself because he counters Patron so well, but Hunter makes sense. It's just, against Druid, they can be tough. You know, it's not as dominant there. So I would have gone with Control Warrior myself if I had to pick a lineup. But I think he could definitely do well with the Hunter. I think he's just gotta suffer through the Paladin, and the Paladin is gonna get a free win, kind of. And then Blackout should probably be pretty safe. So I'm gonna predict a 3-1 victory for Blackout here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. It will be interesting to see as well because Blackout, he did definitely tilt in that semi-final after game 1. I think he kind of realizes itself. He didn't necessarily acknowledge it. I think he does realize that, but he definitely seemed to have calmed down, have got himself back together, and be in a pretty good mindset coming into this. I think having already tilted in his last match, he'll be aware of it and will stop himself from tilting again. If the Paladin gets an easy win, dominant win game 1, he'll be able to realize that that was always going to happen, and he can now win 3-1.
I think the main thing is, I think the main thing is the Warrior from Odin will have a very hard time. I mean, think about the mid-range hunter. That's a hard counter to Warrior. Probably 65. You know, Druid 70% against Warrior. Then Handlock is favored maybe 60%. So it's got all 3 matchups are unfavored for the Warrior. So, but if Odin manages to pick up a win, then anything is possible, I guess. But it's going to be a hard road for him, I think.
So would you start with the Control Warrior from Odin and just know that you've got to win with it against something and give yourself, I guess, the best variance chance against all the decks? Or
I don't think so. I'd probably end with it. I'd have to be honest. Yeah, I mean the Paladin has a good matchup against all 3, so why not start there and get a win off?
Yeah. So you've said before you favor starting with the best deck in the matchup.
Yeah.
But I guess you say that Handlock is 60% and kind of Hunter's like 70%. Mm-hmm. Would you maybe then try and play the Warrior first to avoid the Hunter? I don't know. But we're gonna see. Odin has gone for the Paladin. He's sticking with your idea here, Caldy, and you know better than me, so I would stick with your advice as well. And it's going to be the Druid for Blackout, staying away from that Hunter. Doesn't want to go for a 4th game in the row with that Hunter.
Yeah, sometimes you can actually look at your opponent's lineup and think about what would I play against myself. You know, if you had the things switched, and if you can predict what your opponent is going to play, you can obviously just bring a deck that's strong against exactly that. So.
Yeah, and a player who's played in so many tournaments, played so many matches like Blackout, he knows how pretty much every lineup works at this point. So that's definitely a position he can take of thinking, what would my opponent, if I had this lineup, what would I play against me?
I guess, yeah.
So we see an early shielded mini-bot. Doesn't go for the coin into the Shredder. I guess Odin...
you gotta, no, you can't go for the coin here. It's so weak. It's so weak. This is horribly weak.
Yeah, he's not even going for the Shredder here.
Yeah, he could go for the Haunted Creeper, be fine.
He went for the Knife Juggle. That was needlessly risky.
Yeah, I mean, you could go for the Haunted Creeper into Shredder, into Mysterious Challenger. You wanna save the coin for the Mysterious Challenger, not, a 1 juggle.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit. That's just going to be punished really hard here. Blackout has the Innervate, he has the Savage Roar and the Force of Nature.
Ooh, but a Consecrate might actually mess everything up here.
No.
What a top deck here from Odin.
Well, I guess his gamble is being paid off a little bit.
You attack into the Shredder, I think.
No! Yeah. Why doesn't he kill it? Oh, I don't know. Okay, fine.
He should have been into the Shredder for sure.
Yeah. What do we know? We're not the ones playing in the bronze medal match. But yeah, Odin making some interesting decisions here early on. Some, I guess I wouldn't say necessarily bad lines of play, but unnecessarily risky.
Yeah.
Where he could have a much more stable play that is infinitely better than the match, than what happens if the play doesn't come off. And that's what happened here. He didn't get the Knife Juggle, and The other play would have just been better.
I guess, but you go Shredder here for sure.
Yeah, if you don't play the Shredder now, when do you play it?
Yeah, I mean, might as well now.
What was the secret for Odin?
It was Avenge. Yeah.
Okay. Well, isn't he just dead then?
Actually, yeah, he's probably dead.
He's just dead because the combo is going to happen. So you can think about this turn all he likes, but I think Innervate combo is going to be lethal.
I like Blackout's last turn, actually setting up for that. It's not an obvious thing.
I like the after he saw the juggler turn as well, when he decided to go all face to set himself up again for this a couple of turns down the road. Really, really good heads up play from Blackout here. And that Paladin, which you said was going to be an easy start for Odin, is not going to work out for him here in game number 1.
I guess what we talked about is, you know, both Paladin and Druid kind of draw dependent. If Druid just draws everything, I mean, Odin did mess up that game quite heavily, I felt, so that was kind of his game to lose here. A big win for Blackout, I feel. Yeah,
definitely. Great to get out to a start there against the... and a kind of an unfavorable matchup for Blackout against the Paladin. And we're going to be going straight into it here. It's going to be the Hunter of Blackout against the Paladin once again. We do see that Blessing of Kings. Interesting, we were talking in the semi-final whether or not he played it because we just hadn't seen it. But he actually does play one Blessing of Kings. We spoke to him afterwards.
I have to question this mulligan. Keeping Coghammer against Hunter, I don't know about that. You need early minions, you don't need the Coghammer. If you prefer Muster over Coghammer for sure. It's a turn 5 type of deal where you have a Shredder on board. It's not a turn 3 coin out for the weapon itself.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that's not exactly a high value card. He's sitting on double Divine Favor as well, but we see double Eagle Hornbow from Blackout as well. It's not exactly great either.
The thing is, yeah, the Shielded Minibot and the Muster just outclass the 1 and 2 draw from Blackout, or well, from the Hunter in general, and then you kind of have a similar mid-game as the Hunter kind of pulls forward in the late game, but you're supposed to get ahead early. I don't know, even here, is Coghammer, I think it's worse than Shielded Minibot. Yeah, like, on turn 3 he isn't even playing it, and he's keeping it in his starting hand. Yeah,
if you're keeping it in your starting hand, it has to be something you want to play on turn 3, or coined on turn 2 even. I just don't understand that at all. And Stampeding Kodo from Blackout off the Web Spinner. That's actually kind of relevant.
Yeah.
It kills off a Shielded Minibot. It's a really efficient way to deal with a Shielded Minibot, but Blackout decides not to leave it up, and I can see that if Odin did have a Blessing of Kings, then that would be pretty difficult to deal with. We see the Secrets proc here, so Creeper's going to go up to a 4-3.
Was there maybe an idea to attack into the Haunted Creeper and go for the Unleash instead of just hero powering?
I'm not sure. I think you may be right. I think these players are both playing very fast. It's kind of hard to get a read on what they're thinking.
I think Odin's turn here was correct. But I mean, Blackout can now Stamping Kodo. It's going to be really strong against what Odin is playing.
Yeah, Odin doesn't look pleased about that one.
Not at all. I don't blame him. Noble Sacrifice, okay, that counters the bow. Might actually be significant.
Yeah, loses the bow here.
And now it's all on this Divine Favor. Tyrion, a bad card to get here. In this case, I mean...
Well, let's see what the Divine Favor can draw. I think he has to play even just as an Arcane Intellect here. I don't think he wants to burn the coin just for an extra card draw.
I think you do burn the coin for extra
card
draw. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you need to play something on this turn. If you just hero power, you're in trouble, I feel.
Well, consider yourself vindicated, Caldi, drawing that Haunted Creeper as the 3rd draw that you wouldn't have got otherwise. There you go.
Absolutely. Also, it gives him a better chance to actually draw that Secret Keep, the Mystery Challenger for next turn. Now the Redemption comes up in so many 1-1s. I guess Blackout may be wishing that he kept... Well, he has to Unleash even now.
Yeah, he's going to Unleash now. So he's going to trade into the Haunted Creeper and get himself 5 hounds here.
Was it maybe okay to just go for Savannah now and this next turn?
I mean, I could definitely see the appeal of a turn 6 Savannah Hymen. It's always a very strong play. Might even see a Consecrate here. Odin.
I actually don't like it.
have to.
Yeah, it's not that strong. I mean, the 3-1 dies on board anyway.
It's going to go for the Divine Favor again.
He's actually having a fairly mediocre draw when you think about
Yeah.
it. It's not bad. I mean, he had early minions, he had the Cog Hammer.
I think I like playing the Repentance here. Just because you know you're getting to Savannah Hymen, Lothar Boom territory.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably Repentance over Hero Power there.
I gotta agree with you there, yeah.
Be interesting to see if Blackout's going to play the Savannah anyway. And, I mean, there you go. Odin probably should have played the Repentance, because then he would have been able to trade with that Savannah very well indeed. That Consecrate would have been absolutely awesome for dealing with that.
But yeah, Odin gonna just have to go aggressive here. In the long term, he's just not gonna be that good. I mean, in terms of his top decks are gonna be secrets more frequently now than Blackouts. That card's here a second Unleashed. It's not bad, not good either.
Yeah, we've talked about that before in previous matchups, that when you're the Paladin and you're top decking, your top decks are just they're just objectively of less value.
Yeah.
Blackout's trading here again to control the boards. And it's turn 8, so it's probably time for Tyrion.
But a quick shot freezing might be.
Yep, that's
really
a pretty good
yeah.
response. Houndmasters,
Ooh,
wow.
you quick shot. Oh.
He's going to quick shot and freezing as well.
I guess it's better to play. I kind of like Lothar better than this actually.
Yeah, I can see that. But I also think the freezing quick shot is pretty strong.
When you think about it, there's so many spells in Secret Paladin.
Yeah.
For example, Muster is a spell, even though it's minions that pop out there.
Odin's just going to pass here. He's going to build up a board with competitive spirit and kind of demand an answer. No owl.
Put this apple on your head.
We're going to see the Knife Juggler.
It's an important card here to draw, but this is probably just going to be Odin's game. Tempo swing is just going to be too much for Blackout to handle. I mean, to be expected, honestly, as the Paladin is so strong against Blackout's lineup.
Yeah, is that lethal? I think it is, yeah. Unless he clears the Tyrion here. But even then it's... Yeah, okay. That's definitely lethal. So Odin is going to take game number 2. We did say the Secret Paladin was the strongest deck in his lineup against Blackouts. So, not a terrible loss for Blackout by any means.
Not at all, no.
But good for Odin to get on the board and peg Blackout back.
Maybe get his confidence back up, because he looked a bit shaken after the first game here. Now we have Hunter and Warlock for Blackout against Warrior and Druid for Odin. I mean, the Hunter is going to be fantastic against Druid and Warrior. I think the Warlock should be decent against both. Probably not favored against the Druid, but slightly favored against the Warrior. So I think Blackout is still looking ahead in this series.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, as I say, he does have just a great lineup against Control Warrior. Really, it feels like it doesn't really matter what Odin does with the other two decks. Is if he can't get a win with that Control Warrior, which is very unlikely he will be able to, or decently unlikely he'll be able to. And this is something we've seen in Conquest before. I think back to a particular Kingwin Pro League match with Show and Firebat, where Show brought Control Warrior. Show, of course, very known for his Control Warrior, and Firebat just brought a completely anti-Control Warrior lineup. And Show went 2-0 up and then couldn't get a win with the Control Warrior. It's something that can happen with Conquest.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Odin going into the Druid now, whereas Blackout's on his Hunter. He's very confident about this mid-range Hunter. We did talk before about how it was a little surprising he was favouring it, the mid-range over an aggressive Hunter, but he's a big fan of it, and he's also a big fan of Ram Wrangler, which you were talking about earlier.
A strong card, yeah. But yeah, he needs some top decks here. This is maybe even too bottom heavy. I think Swipe may be good just to kind of defend this Darnassus. But I wouldn't mind innovating Valkyrie out of as well. To a follow up there.
So looks like the Swipe is going to come in. I could see the Innovate Wild Growth. It does give you more flexibility for what you're going to top deck.
Absolutely here. second swipe, is that even viable? I mean,
It's a lot to commit, but I can see why you would want to do it. Freezing Trap works quite well with the Donasis Aspirant.
actually, yeah, he doesn't lose the mana this
Yep.
way.
So he can get an extra mana
Yeah.
and doesn't lose it. So that's basically just turned that Darnassus into a wild growth. So he'll say thank you very much for that back in his hand.
Absolutely. But still, would like to see the wild growth the last turn. I think that may have given him a better chance.
Crucial Juggle doesn't get it. Yeah, he's just going to go face without that juggle. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, this might be really important actually. But still, third turn in a row where he could have had the wild growth extra mana.
Yeah, that wild growth earlier on, I can see why that definitely would have been something you would have looked towards. Gazrilla once again for Blackout. Second Gazrilla in 2 matches. We saw earlier that I will crow about it quite a bit because I got it right and you and Blackout both got it wrong. That it went to 13 and not 14. And it's one of the few times I've ever been right about this sort of thing.
But were you sure though? You know, like,
Well,
that's the thing.
I was pretty sure. I was pretty sure.
Okay.
But I don't like to be too sure about these things because of how often I've got them wrong. So, you know, don't like to be too overconfident.
Don't let it believe in yourself, I guess, yeah.
I don't believe in myself that much, if I'm honest, Caldi. I have very little faith in my own ability.
Ouch.
But yeah, Odin picking that Belcher up here. This is a pretty good position. Now he uses that Innervate for a Shade. I can see that keeping that Innervate has kind of worked out for him.
I mean, he could have just played something for 9 mana, and this Innovator's cost him 4 mana in total, you know. Is it going to be worth it? I mean, not even that sure. But overall, Odin's hand has just been vastly superior to Blackout's hand. He's got exactly the amount of mid-game, I guess, filler that he needed, you know, and now we see lethal here for Odin, so he is going to go up 2-0, but this is not as one-sided as it looks here, as Blackout still has the Hunter and Warlock left, and Odin has that weak warrior left in his lineup.
I mean, this is exactly the situation we said might well happen, is that the Control Warrior might be left as Odin's last deck. You know, Druid's very strong right now, one of the top 2 decks in the meta, can get a win against just about anything. The Paladin was very strong against Blackout's lineup, but that Control Warrior, even though Odin is 2-1 up, he's not necessarily ahead by any means.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the Druid got a very important win against a hard matchup generally. The mid-range Hunter is supposed to be favored. I guess cutting the Hunter's mark, we at least haven't seen it, may be an important thing, but now it's going to be Control Warrior versus Handlock. We might be here for a while, actually.
Okay. Yeah, and this is probably, I think this is the Demon Handlock from Blackout.
Could be, yeah. A strong hand for him at least. It's better to have the coin, if possible, as a Handlock. But the hand is not too bad for Odin either.
Especially with the Twilight Drake, you want to try and have the coin if possible. So, but it is Odin who's going to have the coin. It's match point, of course. If he is able to get a win here with the Handlock, we would have Odin sitting in 3rd place as opposed to Blackout. There's the Bash, another of those cards we talked about from TGT. And,
doesn't look that strong on paper, I guess, but it's been panning out in combination with just the card, for example.
Yeah, just the card, Gorehell, that kind of combination. Exactly as you were saying about the thought process, that was exactly what Odin said in his interview was the thought process behind him picking it.
I actually think this is not the right call here to go for the Belcher. You're not in a hurry in this matchup at all. You don't want to... Yeah, I just don't like this.
You could have bashed into Shield Slam.
Yeah.
That would have been...
I think you don't bash. I think you just hero power, attack with the Armor Smith, and then Shield Slam. Because you don't need the Armor Smith that much. It's honestly not that important. A coin is much more important than an Armor Smith, frankly.
Yeah, now he can't use the Shield Slam, of course, because of the Lotheb.
He gets armor, but he doesn't really need armor overall.
We've talked about Odin's tech a little bit, but we actually didn't touch on the Unstable Ghoul, which is a card which is normally reserved for Patron Warrior at this point, but it did kind of first when it came out and has had little spells in Control Warrior, but it seems an interesting inclusion along with the other tech cards. You kind of wonder how much of the core of the Control Warrior Odin's taking out.
Yeah, it's not common in this type of deck. I guess he's cutting it for cutting revenge for it. I think that may be it. But revenge is really good with just the cards.
Have we seen things like cool Taskmasters necessarily?
No, it's not generally being played. It's the revenge is so good because you are generally at like 15 health when you play just the card and you start armoring up again and again, or even at 10 or below.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really not working out for Odin. I think. Yeah, I mean, if he had the coin, he could just go up Dr. Boom and be fine here. But on the flip side, Blackout is getting low on HP, and that's good for Blackout because now you can start playing Moltens.
Yep, he has that Molten Giant in hand.
I think Blackout is looking excellent here, even though he's behind on board. It's just looking so good for him.
Yeah, that hand's just such high value. You can pull the Jiraxes here with the Void Collar and then taunt that up, and that's just so hard to get through. Shield Slam is one of the few cards, I think, in the game that can deal with that pretty easily, but Odin's not at that point with his armor.
He also has a Sun Fury, which could be really important. I think I don't like Dr. Boom as much as Shield Maiden here. Shield Maiden contests the Void Collar so effectively.
And Shield Maiden Shield Slam would have dealt with a Giant.
It does, yeah.
So he could, yeah, as you say, would have contested the Void Collar and dealt with the Giant. Would have been a pretty elegant turn, but
Some handlocks actually running double BJs. Sismatron was actually running that. I really liked his lineup. He's perhaps has the favorite lineup that I've seen of this tournament. Now tapping again, he can afford this as there's, I believe, no Grommass in this Control Warrior.
I think we might have seen it. Or maybe we have seen a couple
Not
of
from,
Control Warriors.
not from Odin at least.
Yeah, okay. We can play either his Molten or his Mountain Giant and taunt it up.
I think playing both is a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know there's going to be two brawls. But I think the first brawl might come out after you attack into the Void Collar. Odin seems to agree, yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Let's see what survives.
Hope for the boom bot that you guess if you're
Oh, it's
Odin,
the
but,
Giant, the taunted Giant.
Oh, in his face as well.
Gives him a
Sad
free
day for
Molten
him,
Giant
yeah.
later on. That's pretty unfortunate for Odin.
I guess if we think about it last time from Blackout, would it maybe just not be better to go for the Mountain Giant to turn earlier? Because you know the Molten Giant is going to be cheaper.
Yeah, I think in this matchup you do favor play. I think you play Mountain Giant over Molten, where you have both available for the same cost or relatively the same cost. Just because you can probably play Moltens easier later on in the game.
Oh yeah.
You want to play the Mountains as early as possible. So
I think Blackout feels ahead here. He's playing very defensively, and that's generally something you do with Handlock if you feel really ahead.
yeah, he's not being too aggressive. Sludge Belcher comes down, but there is an Owl in hand.
And thankfully, Odin has so much armor in this deck that he can actually afford to play liberally. But I feel like Shield Maiden is the right call here.
He's going to go for the Death Spine into it.
Okay, this is okay-ish. Generally, you want the Big Game Hunter to go down first, so you can kill the Big Game Hunter with the Baron Geddon.
Do you think we'll see the Big Game Hunter come down here to
I think we have to, yeah.
kill this? Yeah. Oh. Just going for the Dr. Boom into the Big Game Hunter for Blackout. And now we're in a scary position if you're Odin.
It's gotta be a second brawl. I mean, he has options in terms of, unless it's the Dr. Boom, he's okay. Drops a Belcher, contests the board, it should be fine. Yeah, it's gonna be one Boombot left. Perfectly fine.
Okay. He gets a better one this time.
Yeah.
That's about fair. Gets 50-50 on his brawls from what he would have liked. And Blackout's just thinking about Mal'Ganis here.
He's playing passively, yeah.
I like Mal'Ganis. I mean, it demands a response. There is Shield Maiden, Armor Up Shield Slam, which can deal with this.
It just has to be the turn. I think he also has to go to face. I mean, he's seen one Molten Giant already, so what is he really playing around?
I can take the hit.
How is he going to win this without going for face?
He saw an anti-killbot as well, which would suggest to him that Blackout doesn't have the second in hand.
Yeah.
See, I like this. He just has to try and win at this point, kind of as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's no taunt in Blackout's hand, so this might get out of hand fast.
Okay, so the silence comes down on the Belcher now. And a Mortal Call to kill it. He's just going to play the Doom Guards. Discards that Mountain Giant.
I think if it comes down to it, yeah, playing the Mountain over Molten may have cost him a lot this game, because he could have played the Molten for,
For nothing. So
basically
many
now
times.
he could have played it there, you know.
Yeah, you could have played it there before playing the Doom Guard, and then not discarded the Giant. Yeah, I think you're right. I think not playing.
He gets it now though, that's something. But there is the Sylvanas on board, and it's getting really dicey.
Gonna Mortal Coil his own Owl here.
Can, I guess, Shadow Flame? Yeah, is Blackout just cracking under the pressure? Did he play too passive and too defensive?
Not sure. This is
Let none survive.
really difficult here. I felt like Blackout was ahead. Oh, he doesn't get the steal on the Sylvanas. That's pretty crucial. That could keep Blackout in this.
Yeah, it seems to have been a series of small mistakes here from Blackout. He has to tap though, he has the option to do that. Now the Owl is just not what he needs.
No, he's got pretty much entirely dead cards in his hand.
There is the Gore Hall though, so Odin could potentially top deck a win here and take third place.
Yeah, once Blackout's below 7 health, this is...
Does Shadow Flame, okay, so we're really afraid of the Gore Hall, but still. Just to get too hard, I think it didn't come down quite yet, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Alexstrasza. Contest the board with an 8/8 minion, demands a response this turn. And there isn't one from Blackout.
He gets the
Gets the
taunt
taunt,
though.
okay.
Ooh.
There you go, gets the top deck off the life tap to survive for now.
It's getting really exciting actually.
This is really
so
close.
many outs though. Execute is not one of them. Yeah, you can actually just discard and double hero power. You can hero power again, yeah.
Yeah, you remembered that. So a lot of people don't. A lot of people forget that you can play the two armor hero power first, and then get 6 armor in one turn.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was going to reach for the Justicar first, and he wasn't going to play the execute. There's the Dark Bomb to kill the Alexstrasza. Blackout's out of cards here.
I mean, everything is possible. There's so many weapons left for Odin. That's what I'm worried about for Blackout here. So many weapons left.
He silences the Ancient Watcher. Okay.
Accolade of Pain won't do it.
No.
But 2 draws and so much armor as well. I think maybe it might even be correct to just ignore this. He forfeits, okay. Figures that he'll die next turn, so Odin is our third place winner here in GIGACON.
Very surprising. Getting the win with the Control Warrior that we said he would struggle with. Blackout, can I go back to that Giant there? Gotta talk about it.
It's the smallest plays that made the difference in this game.
Yeah, that's going to be the talking point as we digest this after the fact. But yeah, choosing the Molten over the Mountain Giant at that point when that Molten Giant could have been so relevant later on in the game, but it really felt like Blackout got very unlucky in that game. Ancient Watchers and Owls that couldn't affect the board state.
On turn 12 though, I mean those cards are going to be weak anyway against in this matchup. So I didn't feel like Blackout he got a Mountain Giant, he got a Twilight Drake in his opening hand. I don't see where he got unlucky actually.
Wow, yeah, it's a very surprising result here for the third place matchup. Odin taking third place at GIGACON in an unfavored matchup with a Control Warrior. But we're looking ahead to the grand final now. It's going to be Spo versus Powder. But before we get there, we're going to have our show match between Norway and Friends versus Sweden. That's going to be very entertaining. Caldy, you're going to be taking part in that one.
Absolutely, yeah.
As an honorary Norwegian for the day. So I think it's Cypher who's going to be joining me on the desk. I'm excited for that one. So we're going to take a quick break while we get that all set up for you. Come back and watch the Norway versus Sweden National Pride Trophy Championship Series. It's going to be a big deal here at GIGACON.